Okay, this is part 2 for section 1.4. I'll just finish off with example 10 in this video. Okay, so we're asked to write the following expressions in a single power of x. So earlier for example 9, we were asked to express the answer in a single number. Okay, so you kind of got the decimal or the single number for the final answer. For this one, okay, we have to write it as a single power of x. Okay, so anyway, for letter A, we have x squared. The quantity is raised to 3. According to the law, all you have to do is multiply 2 and 3. So the answer should be x to the 6. Letter B, we have 1 over x squared raised to the quantity of 4. Okay, now what your book does is that it gets this x, it moves it up, so you have an x to the negative 2. Okay, but one other way you could do this is I could distribute the 4 to both numerators and denominators, okay, because it belongs to each part of the quantity anyway. And so I'll have 1 to the power of 4 over x squared to the power of 4. And 1 to the power of 4 is just 1. And x squared to the power of 4 is x to the 8. Okay, if I move it up, I'll have x to the negative 8, which still matches what you have in the textbook. So either process is acceptable. Letter C, I have x cubed to the negative 1. Okay, your book brings it down immediately, but what I could do is I could just multiply directly, because according to one of the laws, I can do that. And so I'll have x to the negative 3, okay, which could also be written as 1 over x cubed. So either way is acceptable. And then finally for letter D, I have x squared over x to the power of 5. According to the laws, I will subtract because my bases are the same. And so that's going to be 2 minus 5, which will be negative 3. Again, I could also rewrite that as 1x to the 3. Okay, so if you do not know how to add or subtract your integers, that most likely is where you will commit errors. So make sure that you're not making careless mistakes there. Okay, now on page 21, it just talks about standard form. Okay, you can study that, read that on your own. But all I really want to highlight here is if I have something in standard form, I will squeeze it here in this portion. Let's say, for example, I have, okay, this is the general form. A, which is some number or integer, raised or multiplied by 10 to n, to any power. This, if any number is written in this form, we say that it's written in standard form. Now, the note, though, the remark you have to take note of is that A here cannot be bigger than 10. Okay, always remember A must be at least 1, but not but less than 10. Okay, so for example, if I have 50 times 10 to the 3, that's incorrect. Okay, I have to make this number less than 10, and then I'll adjust the exponent accordingly. Okay, so that's just a remark. And then if you are entering this in your calculator, if you do see an E, okay, so for example, if you have 3.1 E minus 3, sometimes you'll get that in your calculator. Okay, what this really means, it's just your 3.1 is your integer A or your number A, okay, and then you're just multiplying 10 raised to this exponent, which is negative 3. Okay, so just make sure of that. E is just your times 10, basically. Okay, and then example 11 is just an application. It's giving you the dimensions of a certain cuboid. Okay, all you have to do there is enter those values in your calculator and make sure you're writing the answer in standard form, which is something that looks like this. Okay, so I think that's basically 1.4. Okay, please go ahead and try the exercises and ensure that you're applying the laws correctly. And then make sure if you have standard form or anything times 10 to an exponent, that your letter A here, your number A, or which is called the coefficient or mantissa, by the way, is always in between 1 and 10.